and welcome to the online meeting for the Eagle Toastmasters this month of March. I want to say that I'm very excited to be your host today in this month where we celebrate women. Yes, I'm a man, I know that. But in this month where we celebrate women, I'm so glad to be your host because I know that today, at the end of this meeting, we are going to be learning so much, especially because on one side, we've always appreciated women as mothers, amongst others. Now we'll be looking at how we can put in women in leadership positions. So once again, I want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you for taking out time out of your busy schedule to be a part of our online meeting today. I want to assure us that today we're going to be having a very packed session, a very wonderful time. And please, let's feel free. Our inputs, our feedbacks, our opinions are welcome after we've listened to an Amazon who will be taking us through the session for today. So without further ado, I'll be handing over to our delectable president who will be taking us through the inspirational thoughts for the month and also introducing our wonderful speaker for today. Thank you, Madam President. Over to you. Hello, Madam President, we can't hear you. No audio yet. Madam President, can you hear us? Okay.
You can get here anywhere. It's just
Sorry, there's just a little audio we're trying to sort out.
Should we go ahead to maybe introduce the speaker and maybe take the inspirational thought at the end?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the speaker for today, while I was going through her profile, I was like, wow, this is, when you hear the statement, say, this is who I want to be when I grow up. She is, first of all, her name is Mrs. Sonye Allanah. She is the Division E Director for Toastmasters. She is a former career diplomat and has served in a number of Nigerian embassies in different countries, from France to Germany to Senegal, amongst others. Having lots of experience in protocol practice at the highest level, she has served as the first female director of protocol to the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Currently, she serves on several boards, including the African Youth International Development Forum, amongst a host of others. She is fluent in French, German, and English, and she is currently the Deputy General Manager of Government Relations and Public Affairs for Total Exploration and Production Nigeria. So you will agree with me that she is in the very capable position of explaining to us how women can get into leadership. So let's do the honors of welcoming to give her presentation, Mrs. Sonye Allanah. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And
thank you.
Absolutely delighted and excited to be part of this, my very first online meeting.
Okay.
Yes, as you said, to get women in leadership is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a personal experience because I've always been in what is called a man's world. A man's world in sense of diplomacy. Diplomacy normally is mostly dominated by men, that is globally. As well as at the presidency, as I said, normally the women were always attached to the wife of the head of state. But I was the first person that was actually attached to the president as director of protocol. And again, now I'm in the oil and gas sector. And of course, again, most people here, most of my colleagues are men. So the women, you know, we are still few, but I would like to urge everyone to stand up and be counted, because women, we should lead, right? And it's time. I think the time is now. There's no time like now. So I would like to begin my presentation. I'll just share my screen with you as I start. So, women and leadership, as you rightly said, that the clarion call of the United Nations is gender parity, that step it up for gender parity by 2020. And the theme for this year is press for progress. Now, women and leadership. Now, is it that women shy away from leadership, or is it that women are not given the opportunity to lead or to express themselves? And what do we have to do as women to be counted among men and to be taken seriously? So I want us to discuss that this evening. Here we have it, the United Nations Clarion Call. Planet 50-50 by 2030, sorry, step it up for gender parity. And this Clarion Call asks governments to make a national commitment to address the challenges that are holding women and girls back from reaching their full potential. So it's time for us to take our rightful place as women. We've had the forerunners for us, the people like Margaret Thatcher, who was an activist, and she was also a pioneering female politician in Nigeria's first republic. We have people like Queen Amina, the legend, so to speak, the warrior queen, the Hausa warrior queen. Coming closer to our own times, Funmilayo Ransome Kuti, of course, we know that she was a very strong woman who wielded a lot of influence in her time. The Queen of England is another person who, as a monarch, has held her own for several decades. Margaret Thatcher, someone that we look up to, and is one of my role models, because she's somebody who made sure that she overcame all the odds to become Britain's Prime Minister. And what did I say? There are little things, just like speech therapy classes that she took. Because as a leader, you have to sound right, you have to speak right, you have to look right, and you have to just have what it takes. And then, of course, Angela Merkel is somebody I watched very closely, because I was in Germany when she was on her campaign trail. And it's interesting to have seen the transition of her from an activist as a politician to the chancellor that she has become today. And we can see that the transition is quite clear. We may talk about it a little later. And then there is you. Yes, you, every female that is watching you, you are to get up and take your rightful place, because the world awaits you. Hillary Clinton said something, and she said that it is past time for women to take their rightful place, side by side, in the rooms where fates of peoples, where their children's and grandchildren's fates are being decided. Now, anywhere that decisions are being made, the funny thing is normally the men that are making the decisions. And it's often that the men that will tell the women what is good for them, what is right for them, and the women meekly accept it. Right or wrong, it's for us to say. Now, worldwide, women continue to contribute to social, oops, I'm sorry. Uh-oh. The thing is running away with me, I'm sorry. How do I get back? Oops. Sorry. Anyway, what I'm saying is that now that, okay, worldwide, women continue to contribute to social, economic, and cultural, political achievement. Toastmasters International is not left out. And District 94 has proudly produced female leaders as at district, division, and club levels. And here I'm sure you can recognize some of them. Now, the general picture. I've done a study some time ago, and I found that there is low female representation in senior managerial positions globally, anywhere. Most boardrooms are dominated by men. And significantly, there is a lower number of new female recruits, especially in technical positions. And I'm saying that now because I'm in oil and gas, and I find that most of the engineers, again, are men. Initially, that on our platforms, we didn't even have female toilets because it was assumed that the engineers were men. So by the time female engineers came on board, they had to share the bunks and had to share the toilets with men. Can you imagine that? So it was just not expected. So what we are asking is that what does the world expect from us? And what do we women expect from ourselves? And in Africa especially, and bring it home to Nigeria, what do we do to ourselves? When a woman loses her husband, it's the women that gather around and tell her all the horrible things that she has to undergo just because she has lost her husband. It's not even the men. So it's time for women to be kinder to themselves and to, in order to be able to move forward, because we can't keep on, maybe it's a stereotypical impressions that we have so much imbibed that we don't even want to break away or want to overcome them. So there's difficulty in breaking the glass ceiling. Self-marketing is another problem. A woman doesn't like to market herself. Why? Very often she doesn't know where to draw the line between self-marketing and appearing cheap or appearing that she wants to be overbearing or flirtatious, etc. And then of course there's the multiple roles of women: wives, mothers, sisters, friends, etc., colleagues. Where does she fit in when she's a nursing mother, etc., etc.? So those are some of the difficulties that but they can be overcome. And I'm a living example of that. And again, we have full representation of women in teams and various levels of decision making. Now, many offices, you see lots of women. And where do they put women? At the front desk and in marketing. But when it comes to taking decisions, where are the women? Where are they? And what is happening? And why do people think, including women, that we can't take decisions and that decisions should be taken for us? Now, the problem is very often things get mixed up with religion and things like that. And when we hear that women should be submissive, and etc. But what we don't understand is that women should be submissive to her husband, not to the world in general. And it doesn't mean that she has no voice and no say, and that she should not be taking decisions lest she be, it will be misconstrued as her being too forward. So we need a mindset shift, if you will, of this general picture. So this is a typical multinational company where you have the male representation standing at 85% and the female a very meager 15%. So this is the picture, but how do we change it? In senior management, again, the slice of the pie becomes even more narrow. We see a male representation of 90%, whereas the female representation is just 10%. So what are the barriers? We have here our proverbial glass ceiling, and it's like the woman has to fight her way through at every level. She just has to fight her way through to be taken seriously, to be listened to, and just to make her mark. So the barriers are, for one, the natural gender issues: pregnancy, child rearing, and domestic demands. But by the time a woman becomes a wife and the husband says, no, you can't be out till all hours at board meetings, etc., what does the woman do? And of course, we have, as we said, the glass ceiling, that they feel that, okay, woman, you can get so far and no further. Now, we have prejudices and misconceptions. Number one, as I said, the stereotypical prejudice is that a woman's place is in the kitchen. I've been in offices where I have been told that they have my type at home. And I said, that's certainly not my type. My type will not be in your house. But if you know what I mean. They just feel that once a woman is even slightly assertive, it's almost taken as an affront. It's like, oh my goodness, how dare she? You know, that women are not supposed to be bold. They're just supposed to sit down, shut up and listen. But I mean, those days, I believe, are well and truly over. Another thing, they believe that women are too emotional. They think, okay, any small thing that she'll break down, she'll cry and all that. It may be so, and it may not be so. Because I think that women have come into their own strength right now, and we know our worth. And yes, we have some women, I agree, that are emotional, but does that take away from anything? Does it make her, unstable? I don't think so. So women attain positions by quota rather than merit. And I find this is very insulting. when you think, okay, so they said we should step it up for gender parity and all that, okay, so give them a certain number, and so that they'll be contented with that, and we have, you know, tick the box and said, okay, everything is cool. So it's not that because you merit the position, but just so that we feel that we have fulfilled all righteousness, and that too should not be the case. And again, they feel that the man can take liberties to flirt or be patronizing. You know, I've had all kinds of experiences, men tell you all kinds of nonsense. They think so just because you're a woman, they can tell you rubbish. For an example, I was where I have been as an employee, or where I was working before. Even the junior staff, let's say the junior male staff, they call me auntie, whereas they call my male colleagues sir. Right? So, and I used to say, I'm not your auntie. Right? Just because you're a woman, they feel that you can be called auntie. And then the man they will say, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir, even if that man is your subordinate. So these are the realities of our times. So now, let us shatter that ceiling. Let us get to the top. Because glass can be broken. Women, I'm sure you will agree with me. She is glass, we'll break it. Right, so if you want to break the glass ceiling, you must aim for the top. If you continue to just say, okay, that's fine, I'm a woman, oh, thank goodness, I have a managerial position, I mean, that's okay by me, you know, I have a good income, and let me just sit down there and relax. No, aim for the top. Let us break that ceiling, let's get there. So what do we need to break the ceiling now? You know that to break glass is not just by wishful thinking. So you have to actually do something. So what are we going to do to break that ceiling? And you must have professional presence, because there's something that nobody can argue with, and that is your professionalism. Once you come across as a professional, no one can take that away from you. So, and you already stand in good stead. So you must create your brand. So woman, what is your brand? What are you known for? When you hear Kino, what's the next word that will come to mind? You know, when you hear Stella, what's the next word that will come to mind? So create your brand. You must express your style. So, and don't be afraid to express your style. So even if you're in a corporate environment, yes, it's corporate, you will be wearing your dark colors and your suits and all that, but you still may have a style, right? And you're free to express it. And then you must have confidence. So many women used to be apologetic, you know, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm here, you know, just ignore me, just take the thing if you like, if not, you know, I'm so sorry. No, be confident, because once you know what you're about, you are confident and you have a voice. So thank goodness for Toastmasters. And then of course, effective communication. Say what you mean and mean what you say it clearly, and make sure that everybody has understood. And then develop yourself. Leave no stone unturned to develop yourself, because the world respects people who have more than a pretty face. I'm sure you'll agree with me. Now let's look at our internet image. Again, when we talk about your brand, it has to be consistent. If you're developing a brand as a person, and I hope some of you might have Googled me, what comes up when people Google your name? And the slide that I showed you earlier on about the female division directors and the division and district directors, past and present, I Googled all of them, including myself. Because when somebody Googles your name, something credible is supposed to come up. And so whatever image that you're trying to create, it has to be consistent all through your life, if you want. So at home, it should be the same as in church or in the mosque or in the office or wherever it is. So your social space should not be so frivolous that people look at it and just hiss and say, oh, next. Now, but when you get into a social space, you should look at it and say, interesting. Oh, okay, so she had a comment on this book. Oh, she has recommended XYZ, and oh, she has an opinion on this, right? So we should know how to make use of the social media to our best advantage. Now, after the celebration, we're saying we're celebrating International Women's Day and they're celebrating women, and they used to give us even roses in the office and all that. But after the celebration, what next? Beyond the celebrations, what is our role and what actions can we take? International Women's Day 2018 campaign theme is Press for Progress. So press is that you have to exercise some strength, you have to break into a sweat, you have to make sure that you get through where you want to get to. So make a pledge. For the ladies, I say help women and girls achieve their ambitions, and even for the men. Whether you have sisters, daughters, mothers, friends, help women and girls to achieve their ambition. What is it? Ask a girl, what's your ambition? Where do you want to get to? How can I help you? Number two, challenge conscious and unconscious bias. There are some biases that are in the minds of people, they don't even know that it's there. Number three, value women's and men's contributions equally. And number four, create flexible and inclusive cultures. So whether you're in the workplace and all that, wherever it is, you do it. Create inclusive and flexible cultures. Now, what unites us is stronger than what divides us. We are strong Nigerian women. It has nothing to do with your ethnic group, has nothing to do with your religion. We are women in Nigeria and we are strong. Now, Madeleine Albright, the former US Secretary of State, said that there is a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And our very own Helen Blanchard, who was the first female president in Toastmasters, she's one of the people that because of her, we are here, and we also were able to achieve and attain such positions and even beyond. Now, what we would like to see is the difference from people going for board meetings looking like this to looking like this. So there's no glass ceiling, really. Once you have broken through that, there is just blue sky. And that's a book title by Macy Blochowiak. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. I take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sonye Allanah.
You're welcome.
That was intense, I must say. Before I begin to take questions, I just want to point out to the men in this meeting, let us not for whatever reason feel, oh wow, this is just all about women. Where are the men in this? Do we even have a chance anymore? I just want to point out that it is for our own good. It is in our best interest that the women we have in our lives are empowered to help us become whatever we want to be. If we have women leaders side by side with men, then we'll be able to have a balance, for example, of quality logic versus quality emotions. We'll be able to holistically solve problems rather than solve problems headlong and then find out that we did not do enough thinking, which a woman would have helped us to see another side of the problem. So to the men out there, please let us work with the understanding of contributing to improving the women we have in our lives as mothers, as fiancés, as sisters, as colleagues, amongst others. Then also, I also want to point out something about the conscious and unconscious bias, which I think I've been privileged to do some thinking on. Many people feel they don't have any bias, especially when it comes to the idea of having women in leadership. But if you look at this scenario where when you go into an aeroplane and you find out that the captain and the co-pilot are men, no one raises any problem. It's fine, it's normal. But whenever there is the picture of the pilot and the co-pilot are women, there's this, like, what's going on? Or are we celebrating something? And if you are going on a trip and all of a sudden there is some, let's say there's some turbulence, there is a tendency for people to get worried when the idea of, oh, it's a woman driving this plane. They're like, can she do it? But you would never think that way if it was just a man driving that same plane. So little things like this that we begin to ask ourselves questions that undermine the competence of a different gender are things known as conscious or unconscious bias. So once again, thank you very much, Mrs. Sonye Allanah, for taking us through this insightful presentation. We're very glad to have you. Now I throw the floor open to everyone in the house. Please, let's ask our questions. Whatever things have been bothering us on how we can contribute to encouraging women in leadership in different, from our different points where we are in our states in life. How whatever questions we have, let's feel free to ask them, because I am very sure that we have someone who is ready to take them. You feel free to ask for your mics to be unmuted, or you can send me a private message and then I'll read out your question to our speaker. Okay. Do we have questions? Okay. While we're still ruminating over the questions to call forth. Okay. Okay. Iya Bolu. Okay. Please.
Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
This is Mrs. Aye Shimoju.
It's a pleasure.
Attitude is key in everything. I listened very carefully to your presentation, and I appreciate the motivation and inspiration. But what I believe that we should be pressing forward for is a healthy balance rather than a women's sleep. That is my own contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate the contribution. And please rest assured, it is not at all women's sleep. This has nothing to do with women's sleep. Remember, we are talking about parity and not equality. They're two different things. So we're not saying that we want to discard the men and all that. This was just to encourage the women to attain their full potential. So it has nothing to do with women's sleep or saying that we're now equal to men and all that. Parity and equality are two different things. So I hope that is clear. And yes, because maybe I was addressing the women, the men may feel a little threatened. Please don't. Please don't. It's just that the women need a little extra push sometimes to know who they are and what they can contribute. You see, the important thing is that we link arms with our male counterparts to add value. So it's not that we are relegated because we are women, but because we are women, we can also contribute. And that's the point I was trying to make. Thank you very much, ma'am.
This really supports your contribution. I enjoyed your contribution, but your mental attitude is key. Yes. I don't want us ladies to have an attitude of a leap. What you're pressing for, that attitude of healthy balance, I see it as good. And it is actually in support of what you've said, but I want the women to have the right attitude in this push forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Aye Shimoju, for your question, for your contribution. Okay, so the floor is open. More questions, contributions, feedback, opinions are welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, my name is Raphael. Okay. I think there's I just want to make a statement. One of the major reasons why we have this imbalance when it comes to women and men, I think it goes down to the way our young girls are brought up. I think if we start bringing our young ladies up, not creating that submissive or kitchen mindsets and all that, I think it's going to really help a lot for them to gain confidence later on in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raphael. I fully agree with you. And the flip side of the coin also is to also bring up our boys properly. Because very often we mollycoddle our boys and say, no, don't you know he's a boy? While we tell the girls to wash the plates and all of that. So nothing stops the boy from washing the plates. Nothing stops him from sweeping the house. Nothing stops him from help. And I believe that is the healthy balance, again, that Mrs. Aye Shimoju was talking about. A healthy balance for both sexes. That it's okay to contribute to life. And it's okay to contribute to the cleanliness of your environment, to cleaning the house and all of that. So you don't say that cleaning the house is left for the woman, and to apportion, should I say, tasks and responsibilities according to gender. Thank you very much for that.
Okay. DTM Oladele, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody. I must apologize for the background noise. I am speaking to you from the terminal of an airport, but I just have to be at this meeting. I must thank our division director for Division E, Toastmaster Sonye Allanah, for taking out time to speak at this session. And I must commend your presentation. It's quite informative, very instructive, and quite inspiring, I must say.
Thank you.
I'd like to quickly mention, I listed 3 areas of contribution here, which the first one has been broached by the gentleman, Raphael Okenye. It has to do with the way we train our children. I am a product of a home where I was trained to know how to do everything regardless of gender. I learned how to cook from home. I can take care of the car. I can take care of electrical parts in the home. And that is the way our parents raised us. I think the fundamental issue, which we have also mentioned in different ways, is the way we bring up our children. You will often hear, parents, and let me zero in on African parents. They say, don't do that. Don't you know you are a girl? A girl shouldn't do that. You hear such statements. And before you know it, such a child begins to be programmed that there is a way a lady should do it. There is a way a guy should behave. Now, whilst indeed, as we grow better and we understand protocol, etiquette, and modern business manners, of course, there are some gender-related conducts, comportments, and deportment. However, these comportments and deportment must not be used as a way to make a girl think she's inferior to the boy, to also make the boy feel he's superior to the lady. Whilst in some homes, you see the boys are left to watch TV, and the girls will be huddled up with the mother in the kitchen. I feel like it was in my home, or rather, our family where I grew up. Regardless of gender, children should be raised to be responsible concerning every aspect of chore, particularly because whilst one is not envisioning it, the reality of life is you will find out that in a case where a girl is raised by a single father, she knows what it means to take care of manly things. If such a lady grows up to be a mother, a woman who now marries a man who was raised by a single mother, then there will be a challenge, because whilst she's trying to do things that she's used to generally, the man who probably to an extent should take the lead in the home as the head of the home, not because the wife is less of the person, there may be conflict there. So it's important the way we raise our children. Secondly, I must mention that over the years, I've observed very painfully that there is a need for a growth in women supporting women. That, as I cannot wrap my head around it. A few years back in this country, there was a woman who contested as an aspirant in the political space for a particular party. And it may break our hearts to realize that after the primaries, she had only 1 vote in a very big party in our country. Where were all the women who traveled from different parts of the country as delegates of that party? Who did they vote for? They voted for the man. So I think also in this discourse, we must have a critical mass of women supporting women. It is very, very important. My last point is what Mrs. Aish Modio had mentioned. In this issue of women taking their place, I would rather flip the discourse this way. Let women do the things that Toastmaster Sonye Allanah has said. Develop yourself, be confident, develop your communication. When you are trying to break the ceiling, approach it with confidence, not with the air of, you have intimidated me so far, I am a minority, I want to assert myself. Just be natural. Be yourself. Don't feel that you need to perform twice as much to even meet the basis of a man. These are my contributions. Over to you, the moderator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Oladele. That was insightful. Thank you very much. I have someone wanting to speak. Binta. Binta, you may go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I recently did a research on the glass ceiling and its effect on women. And I came to realize, I think it was about last week, we had a discussion where we talked about, are women ready to become president? Mm-hmm. Or is Nigeria ready to have a female president? And interestingly, a man in the group said, no, God forbid, never. And what I found interesting was I said, so you're trying to say that your daughter cannot be president one day? He said, never. I said, the problem with that is, he said, if it's president of a country, she can never be. I told him, when you tell your children things like that, especially the girls, they tend to believe that. They don't hear what you say is different, but what they hear is also different. They hear that, okay, I'm not good enough to be the captain of the football team. I'm not good enough to be the head girl in school. I'm not good enough to be the best student in the department. I'm not good enough to be a senator. I'm not good enough to be president. So it kind of just puts a limitation on these girls, because they feel like, well, from home, they've already told me that I can't do as well as my brothers. I can't achieve what I want to achieve because I am a girl. So I think it starts from the home. That is the foundation of everything. As Michelle Obama said, that we nurture our boys and raise our girls, which is a problem, especially in the Nigerian society, because we feel, just as the other speaker said, that there are some roles that are for girls, and then boys are allowed to sit and watch what is happening. At the end of the day, if we want our girls to be confident enough to shatter this glass ceiling, the work needs to start from when they're young. They need to be taught that there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you can't achieve as long as you set your mind to. And then growing up with that kind of confidence, you know that wherever you go to, and regardless of if you're the only woman in that organization, regardless of if you're the only woman in that class, you will push to be the best without any fear of thinking that, okay, because I'm a woman, then I can't be the CEO of this company. So my contribution is that it is a foundational problem. We should try to get our girls to be confident enough from the home. And then when they go out in society, they won't worry as much because they've already built the confidence from home. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Binta, for your contribution. I just want to quickly ask this question because, yes, I appreciate the fact that we're saying, oh, we need to do this from home. But now let's look at from a practical standpoint. We have lots of women that have gone through a lot of confidence bashing. Lots of women have stories that have of events or situations in their life that have broken them. How exactly do we as men, as women, how exactly can we contribute to building them up and setting them ready to become leaders? Because I believe that if the person's psyche is broken, the person will not even see that or aspire to contribute or to become a leader. So where do we start from? My question.
Yes, and I think just before we answer that question, I just want to give a personal example. When I was about to finish my first degree, and I was in the car with my favorite uncle, and I told him my dreams as a girl. And I said to him, okay, after this, I want to do a master's. And after the master's, I want to go ahead and do a PhD. And he said to me, he said, what? He said, so what's your husband going to read? So I was so shocked. I mean, that came from my favorite uncle. And I thought, oh dear, maybe I've said something wrong. Or maybe I'm not even supposed to go ahead to aspire to do a PhD. And trust me, I never did. It's only much, much later, it really affected me because it came from somebody whom I loved, who was my favorite. And I thought that he was giving me genuine sound advice. So I said, okay, let me sit down quietly with my first degree and behave myself as a woman. It was much, much later that I spoke to myself and I encouraged myself and the confidence rose and I began to aspire higher. But these are the damaging remarks that we hear as children, as young girls, and that they really do affect us. And I mean, I'm a product of such. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, so we have Liz, are they doing? Yeah, you may proceed with your contribution.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Sonye. That was
welcome.
That was good and insightful. And just on the use of what you said, I would like to contribute by saying that yes, to a great deal, the people that surround us, they have an impact on how we turn out. In my own case, my father had this, I say, 100+% confidence in me. And I am all he never could be. I'm a chartered accountant, I'm a chartered banker, I'm a member of the Institute of Taxation, I'm a trainer. There's so much out there, you know, even though he did all these exams, I never passed them, but I've been able to ride on the heels of the confidence he has that a girl child can do as well as any other child. And so when, to your question, saying that what do we do? Like Mr. Oladile said, we start from home. We tell the girls, you can do it. And it's not a tug of war, it's a quiet confidence, you know, pointing them to the people who have gone ahead and saying, this and this and this is what women have done. You can do this, you can do better. So it's up to us as parents, it's up to us as a society. And I always say women ought to help themselves. So yeah, we need to help ourselves. Everywhere I find myself, I say, women, we need to help ourselves. Don't die in silence, speak out, reach out. There are networks out there. Toastmasters is a great place. You know, I've only attended the meeting once, and I can say it's a great place to develop, to find people of like minds. And I know it's not a Nigerian problem. I have an American friend who's the only girl amidst boys, and she still has that mentality, you know, just that girls are not supposed to do some things. So all in all, this is a very robust discussion, and we'll keep on the discourse. We'll keep engaging, we'll keep disseminating information, we'll keep holding up the hand of a girl child. You know, I was at my alma mater on Thursday, and I spoke to the girls. You can do it. Oh, you've gotten pregnant and you're back in school, no problem. Move on. You can do it. And that's the way to go.
Thank you very much, Liz. That was inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a question/contribution from Keno Maseli. Keno, you have the floor.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Keno.
Okay, so I have maybe a little bit of a different perspective. I've heard lots of comments today about, you know, women, we need to support ourselves. I think that's important. But then if most of the decision makers or people in leadership are men, in being able to get to the top and being able to break with the glass ceiling, whether we can see them or not, it's also important to have male mentors as well, I feel. Because if you're just confiding in women, or if you're just, you know, you're clinging on to women, they're only a very, very small percentage of the people who make decisions. So that's my contribution.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's a very valid point, you know, as I must say. And it's not just about having male mentors, but also having male supporters. Because many men do not support the women. You know, as they say, I mean, the default reaction is no. If you see a man and a woman, and you know, you are in front of a recruitment table, they most often lean towards the men, right? So we need to have male supporters. We need to have more men cheering us on and having confidence in us. Because really and truly, how many men really have confidence in the woman and what she can achieve?
Hello. Well, for me, I must say I have lots of confidence because I've seen women heroes. And like I must still reaffirm, Mrs. Sonye Allanah, that when I went through your profile, I was like, this is where I want to be. So well, that's just my take. So do we have any other inputs, feedbacks, opinions or questions, please let's feel free to share. Let's feel free to ask. I must say that the vibe of the discussion is really interesting. It's taking effect. I never knew that, like, to be honest, from all the sessions we've had, this is one that everyone is willing to share what they know, and I must say thank you to everyone, because our contributions make it even more lively. So we still have the floor for 2 more minutes before we proceed to the next point of our meeting. Okay, do we still have questions, feedbacks? Okay.
I believe Moladili had his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. TM Oladele, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Chikudum.
Yes, sir.
Just to further buttress on what Toastmaster Sonye Allanah said, when we have young boys who are raised with a healthy mentality of how to treat women and even how to treat any human being at all, it is my firm belief that it will become easier to view a woman not from the microscopic lens of a gender, but from the microscopic lens of competence, merit. So when it comes to the workplace, the social space, or any other space at all that requires recruitment, hiring people, fixing people, or appointing people, we will not be prejudiced in hiring based on gender or based on merit. And that's why, in addition to what Toastmaster Allanah said, women must also develop themselves. Women must not also, there are pockets of this, that's why I'm mentioning it, also use their gender as a manipulative bargaining tool to say, don't you know I'm a woman, you should give me a concession. We may not have such women on this platform as we speak, but in reality, we have such women who will say to you, oh, you know I'm a woman, you should give me a concession. And that's why you find some organizations, when they want to hire, apart from the fact that they look to the merit, they consider some of the things Toastmaster Allanah has mentioned. The time she's going to go for maternity leave, she's going to come and say her husband said such and such. And these are some of the ways in which these prejudices are built. Not to say they are right though, but women must also not allow organizations that are patriarchal or societies that are patriarchal to use these against them. Mr. Moderator.
Oh, thank you very much, DTM. Thank you very much. That point is valid. Thank you. Okay, so I have Kelvin. Kelvin, you have a contribution. Please proceed with your contribution.
Hi, Chukudum. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, Kelvin, we can hear you.
Okay,
If you could
okay.
speak up a little.
Okay, yeah, can you hear me now?
Very
okay.
clear.
Yeah, okay, so this is my contribution. Personally, I've worked with teams, and I had this stereotype mindset that, I always just wanted males on my team. So even if I have to request for staff to work with, I'm always okay, just give me males, let's get this job done faster. But at some point, we had resource issues and everything. So I was left to just females. And I complained, but I just had to work with them. But I noted something. These ladies went out of their way. They actually thought out of the box. And yeah, in terms of turnaround time and every other thing, it went on very well. And since then, I've always, it has changed now. Instead of requesting for more females, instead of requesting for more males, I've always gone on the verge of getting more females and all. Because yeah, they really got the job done. And yeah, the environment there was peaceful. And the way you relate with them, everyone was courteous and all. So to me, it was a thumbs up and all. And so that's it. Thanks, Chukwuka.
Yeah, thank you, Kelvin. That's speaking from experience. So to all future project managers in the house, please let's imbibe what we are learning now to implement this in our projects. Okay, thank you very much, Kelvin, once again. Okay, so we have a contribution from Adeboyejo. You may proceed with your contribution, or if it's a question. Adeboyejo. Okay. Okay, do we have Adeboyejo still on?
Toastmaster Chikudum.
Okay.
The name is Adekoyejo.
Oh, I am
Why the person is not aware.
I am sorry.
Adekoyejo.
Okay, Adekoyejo. Please, you have the floor now.
Oh, okay. It's me. It's a woman.
Okay.
I didn't know the phone was recording me as Adekoyejo. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay. Well, I just have a contribution. Though I joined the meeting late, but I hope I'm not going to talk off line. Well, in my own experience, before I got married, my dad he had a lot of confidence in me, and he wanted me to study as far as a PhD before getting married. But I think I was more hungry for marriage, and my dad warned me that, my dear girl, your in-laws are going to debar you from going further. And I thought my dad was just talking. I did my master's, quite early. But by the time I started the PhD, then I had some little kids, twins, and I didn't have anybody to take care of them. And I thought my in-laws could help me. And what I had from my mother-in-law, well, my supposed mother-in-law, because my parents-in-law, I actually never knew them. They were dead before I married my husband. But my auntie-in-law, who was acting as my mother-in-law, said, "Oh, Booker Washington, that's enough. When you study all the way to PhD, what are your children going to study?" And I remember I cried so much. And I thought it was going to affect my life. But at the end of the day, God still did it. I still got a good job. I got an international appointment, and I tried my best. And my husband released me. I was in Afghanistan for 9 years. Wow. It was tough. It was challenging. But what surprised me was that, when I came back home, the men around my husband kept saying, "You should be thankful that you take up another wife." I said, "Oh my goodness. I mean, this is to help the family." I didn't expect the men to talk like this. So I wish African men can encourage the women a little bit more. When a woman is actually contributing to the progress of the family, to the progress of the children generally, men should not, talk in a way to relegate the effort the women, have made. That's just my contribution.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adekoyejo. Did I get it correctly, ma'am?
Actually, my name is Mrs. Olugbile. It's yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mrs. Olugbile, thank you.
My son, we registered all our phones together, so he's still looking
beautiful.
at my son's name. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you. We're glad we have your contribution. And while I'm not an authoritative speaker for all men, I can say that with the understanding that we are getting as for the importance of involving women and being inclusive, we can say that the future African man will be much more inclusive, will be much more encouraging to the women we have around us. At least for millennials, you can see that the mindset we have as millennials is that what a man can do, a woman can also do. Well, the place of better or no better, that I don't know. I just know that because we are human beings, we have the capacity, women have the capacity to also get the job done, and they should be given the opportunity. So thank you very much. From a chat here, I must say that it's really awesome to hear that Mrs. Olugbile actually spent that number of years in a foreign land, Afghanistan. So I must say that, like I said earlier, we actually have Amazons in the house. So thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay, so once again, I must say thank you very much to our speaker, Mrs. Sonye Allanah. Thank you very much for the time, for taking out time to take us through a blueprint on how to get women into leadership. I believe everyone in the house have learned a thing or two, or three things, or four things, or more. The discussions, the questions were really inspiring for anyone who prior to now did not understand or appreciate the value a woman can bring in leadership positions. I believe right now we're beginning to have a mind shift. So thank you very much. And I must say we are really privileged to have you with us.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Okay.
And thank you all for joining.
Thank you. Okay, so in the, I don't know, do we have Madam President available? Or
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes.
I must apologize for the initial hiccup with my technology tools. I apologize for that. And I know you can hear me, but I don't know if you can see me because I tried using someone else, a different device. Okay. So thank you, first of all, Madam Division Director, for accepting to speak and for doing so well. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation.
All right. I wanted to, I thought that this was a good subject matter to discuss, considering that all over the world, people are talking about women in the month of March. And if the facts are out there that women need to do more if they want to be inclusive, to be included, excuse me. Out of 55 past heads of state, present heads of state across Africa, only one is female. This is the email that Vice President Public Relations sent out, and I found the stats amazing. In 2017, Forbes reported that only 32 companies on the Fortune 500 of the Fortune 500 companies were run by female CEOs. So that's an increase from 21 female CEOs in 2016 to 32 in 2018. So we're getting somewhere. But in reality, when you put it in perspective, it amounts to just 6.6% of women who are leading. And if I think that women do a good job at leading, if you look at what they are doing in small societies, in communities, in families, I think that they're doing a good job. So why not project and go out and do more? You know, so the question that was answered today is how to get women into leadership positions. It's funny because when I think about myself, I was listening to everyone and thinking about my own journey. My own father has his prejudices, but he married an unconventional woman and had to challenge his own prejudices. In fact, when he heard I was president of the Eagle Toastmasters Club, he was very worried about my husband's ego. And he said, "What is your husband then if you are president?" And I said, "It's not, nobody's considering families in this situation, you know." And he was really worried. Will you get home in time? You know, will there be food for him? And he doesn't have those concerns, my husband in this case. But the thing is that he cannot wrap his head around how I can be doing something and be senior in a club where my husband also belongs. So how am I leading? And I think that when I think about how I'm leading, I think it was just by showing up. At Eagle Toastmasters Club, for instance, we're 12 years old, and in our 12-year history, we've had 4 female presidents. Because what I've observed is that women mostly join and don't commit. They don't want to, they shy away from things. When men gravitate towards the hard work, they want to play more roles so that they can get better at speaking. They want to be more involved. They want to speak and make those mistakes and speak and speak and speak. They're not always ready, but they're not always prepared, but they're always ready to take on the challenge. And I think that's what is missing, in my opinion, from the journey that women need to take to getting into positions of leadership. So we need to be a little more daring. we need to be confident, we need to actually stand up, show up. And when you show up day one, day two, when you show up, you get the confidence that you need to get to the next level. So I think that women should challenge themselves to just show up. Maybe don't make up your mind. Maybe thinking about doing something groundbreaking is frightening for you, but just show up and take the first step, like Helen Blanchard did. Show up. She wasn't thinking of doing anything groundbreaking. So I hope that we've all been inspired today to inspire someone who is in our family, someone who is in our lives. And if you're a woman, you've been challenged to take steps towards doing something that you want to do, make a difference in your society. And if you want to shatter a glass ceiling, go right ahead and do just that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so at this juncture, I will take the announcements because it's already 1 minute past 7. I would like to thank everyone again for coming out and for joining us. This is Eagle Toastmasters Club, Nigeria's first Toastmasters Club. We meet every first and second Saturday at Eco Hotel in Lagos, Nigeria. And every third Saturday, anyone from across the world can join us online, just as we are here. If you are interested in getting emails from us, please send a private message to the admin and leave your email address or your number, and we will be in touch with you. So our next meeting will be on the first Saturday in April, and that will be Saturday, the 7th of April. So we look forward to having you if you're in Lagos. And if not, please join us again on Saturday, the 21st of April, where we will be having another online meeting. Thank you so much for coming. And at this juncture, I'll hand over to the moderator of the meeting who will allow us to meet our guests. We have a good number of guests today. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Thank you very much. Okay, so to the distinguished guests and Toastmasters we have in the house, please let's proceed to introduce ourselves and tell us what our experience has been for this meeting. So I start with the first on my list. Okay, Mrs. Olugbile.
Well, yes, my name is Mrs. Olugbile Oriyemisi.
Okay.
I'm retired at the moment. I retired from the service of the peacekeeping mission in Afghanistan. I actually served in Afghanistan and Kuwait for the 9 years before coming back to Nigeria. I'm a geographic information systems specialist by profession. I'm a mother of 4 and married.
Wow.
And yes. I hope I'll be able to do more of this, joining the Toastmasters meeting online to learn a lot more, because from the experience of my first meeting in Abuja, I have a lot of respect for the club, and I could say that my first meeting was very, very impressive. I liked what I made, and I wish to be part of the Toastmasters, but I'm not yet sick.
You're very welcome, madam. You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome. We look forward to having you in April.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Olugbile, for joining us. Okay, so we have Liz Adedoyin. Please, you have the floor.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
I've visited with Eagle Toastmasters once last year. I would like to participate more. Things I'd be busy, but definitely. Whatever made me leave my house that day to come for the meeting will make me come again. You bet. And this is a good forum. This is a good forum, at least from the comfort of your house, the kids running around. You can still get to connect with like minds. And well, I'm an accountant by day. I'm a trainer and a coach when I'm not working for this corporate organization I work with. I hope to see more of you. I hope to work together with you, and together we change the world one person at a time.
Right.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Okay, we have Aisha. Let's get to meet you, Aisha. Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening,
Good
Aisha.
evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that I was able to join today's meeting. To be honest, I was actually looking forward to it once I saw the name. And just like Chibudu said, after I read her profile, I said to myself, this is what I would want to be. And after this meeting, I'm sure I'm going to approach her to be my mentor. She didn't disappoint at all. And from all the contributions that we have,
I already beat.
I currently work for Total. I am contracted to a project and I am a regulatory compliance coordinator. And I haven't joined Toastmasters yet, and I intend to. Just like the president said, I intend to show up. I really intend to show up. I'm happy to be part of this. So I've had a good time today, and thanks to everyone.
Wow. Thank you very much, Aisha. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have Anne Anapin Iyanda. Let's get to meet you, Anne.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good
Good
evening.
So
evening.
nice to
Good
have you,
evening.
to be with you in the. I've never been in this meeting before, but I'm so happy to hear what I mean, to know what I'm hearing. It's quite good being in amongst you. I'm an acupuncturist, a complementary and alternative medicine. I work with Kana Health and Therapeutic Center. So nice to be with you. I look forward to having another time with you again. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anne, for joining us. Okay, so we have, okay, there's no name here. Okay, sorry. Okay, yes, we have Binta. Binta, let's get to meet with you, Binta.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Binta Gali, and I'm a member of Toastmasters Club in Abuja.
Okay.
Toastmaster Sonye Allanah is my mentor, and I am very privileged to be here on this platform. I have learned a lot from this session, and I hope to join another session in the nearest future. And I am a wellness and nutrition coach. I run a company called Way Light. We specialize in making alternative snacks, foods, and drinks that are healthier. Basically, that's what we do. And I am very glad to be on this platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Binta, for joining us. Thank you. Thank you very much. And for the insights you shared. Thank you. Okay, we have someone here with the name of Galaxy S8. I don't believe that's someone's name, but I believe it's a phone. So let's get to meet the person behind the Galaxy S8, if you will.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Sylvia, and basically, this is my first time joining any Toastmasters event ever. I was given the link to join by my mentor, Mrs. Adiola Aziz. I am a program officer and I'm WIMBIZ. I must say it's actually, I'm actually excited, or should I say, I'm happy I joined today because from what Mrs. Allanah has said, I've learned a lot, and I'm definitely going to go back and work on some of the steps that she shared with us to, you know, become a better person and help others around me as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. We're glad you joined us. Thank you. Okay. And okay, so we have next Mrs. Ayesimoju. Let's
Good
get to
evening.
meet with you. Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Munisola Ayesimoju, Merit Toastmasters. I work as a holistic health practitioner in my husband's clinic. I always refer to myself as a front desk. What we do is to get to the root of people's problems and ensure that they look good and feel good after leaving us. I'm married to Dr. Ayesimoju. I have 4 children, and my best times are when I'm at Toastmasters events. Congratulations, Toastmasters Sonye Allanah. You did a great job.
Thank you very much.
I pray that your efforts will help women to get back what I call their self-esteem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayesimoju, for your contributions and joining us. Thank you. Okay, we have Kelvin. Please, let's get to meet with you, Kelvin.
Hi, Chukujo.
Yeah, hi, Kelvin.
Yeah, my name is Kelvin Chima. Yeah, I work in Lagos. I work for a professional services firm. I joined, I attended my first Toastmasters meeting in January. That was the first meeting for the year. And I joined sometime in March, this month. And it's been a good experience. So coming into the year, one of my resolutions I had was to come into Toastmasters, hone my communication skills, network, and just have a good time. And I know I'm doing that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelvin, and for sharing your experience. I believe it also serves as an inspiration to everyone else here in the room. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so Keno, let's get to meet with you, Keno.
Good, you know I'm not
and we're out of time, so we need to.
Okay.
Why don't you just...
Okay, so let's move on to Okay, so we just have Raphael and Ime, who are not members.
Toastmasters.
Who are not Toastmasters. Raphael. Okay, Raphael, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'm not a guest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm not a guest.
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully by next month I'll be a member.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
thank you.
We're excited.
Okay. And that's it from this end. Thank you very much once again.
What about Ime? What about Ime?
Okay. Okay. Ime doesn't have audio, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, but Ime, if you're hearing us, we want to say thank you for joining us also. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for your time. We know we've overshot. This is not really in our culture. I think everyone was very excited and the introductions came in, and I must say that we've learned a lot. Thank you once more for taking out time from your weekend to share with us. Thank you to our speaker once again. We can't stop thanking you for inspiring us and showing us how in our own different roles we can get to contribute into encouraging women to go into leadership. Thank you very much. I want to say it's been a pleasure being your host this evening. And I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name is Chukudum Chukwedo. So I want to say I'm very glad to have been your host this evening. I wish us a wonderful week and looking forward to meeting us in our next online meeting come the 3rd week of April. Thank you very much and have a blessed week.
Thank you. I would like to ask that if you introduce yourself, you leave your email address in a private message to the admin, the host of the meeting, so that we can stay in touch.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.